The holiday season is here. Stores are decked up with decorations. Clubs are playing holiday music. Restaurants have put out exciting offers. Your inboxes are filled with marketing emails from retailers. Like every year, you want to make most of this season. Stock up on everything nice, splurge for peace of mind. But can you? I say this because things are a bit different this time. Look around you. Economies the world over are contracting. Their economic forecasts are shrinking. Layoffs are growing at an alarming pace. Hopes of a rebound are non-existent. There are grim surveys coming out every day, accompanied by volatility in the stock market and rising prices of goods and commodities. Are these the signs of a recession? If yes, how will it impact you and me? Should you rather save for the future or indulge in the joy of the holiday season? There are dilemmas that many people are facing. Are we really heading towards a recession? If yes, what can we do to avoid its consequences? Can we really cushion the blow? Let's try to find some answers. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. My name is Priyanka Sharma. I'll start with the basics. What is a recession? It's simply an economic downturn in economic activity, a period of time when a country's economy stops growing. Why does this happen? A common rule of thumb is a decline in the GDP or gross domestic product. If it declines for 2 consecutive quarters or half a year, you're in recession. So is this happening right now? Yes, it is. Where exactly? Mostly in the Western world. The United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, the European Union, along with Australia, Japan, South Korea, and China. All these countries are plagued by an economic crisis. In fact, the world's 3 largest economies are headed towards a recession. They could tip into it anytime in the next 12 months. Why? Due to obvious reasons: the tightening monetary policies, the rising cost of living, high commodity prices, and tighter financial conditions. These facts could push these countries into a synchronized growth slowdown. And once they fall, these countries will drive the global economy into recession. At least that is what the World Bank says. But is there merit to this argument? Yes, there is. Take the case of the United States, which is edging towards a recession. It is still the world's largest economy, the largest importer of goods and services, and accounts for a quarter of the global GDP. Simply put, it plays a dominant role in global financial market. So what happens in America doesn't necessarily stay in America, a domino effect of sorts. In fact, if you do some research, you'll find that all previous global recessions have coincided with sharp slowdowns or outright recessions in the United States of America. From there, it spreads to Europe. This time it already has. The EU is already at the risk of recession. It is bracing for a grim winter season as growing costs strangle its economy. So which countries will face the biggest hit? Reports say Germany, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. According to Bloomberg, these countries will suffer at least a 3-month period of contraction. In fact, the UK is already in recession technically. The country's economy has shrunk. Economic output has fallen by 0.2% in Q3. The Bank of England says this recession period could possibly last for more than 2 years. So what is the UK doing to fix this? For now, it plans to raise taxes and cut down expenditure. Listen to this.
Well, we're all going to be paying a bit more tax, I'm afraid, Sophie. But it's not just going to be bad news. I think what people recognise is that if you want to give people confidence about the future, you have to be honest about the present and you have to have a plan. And this will be a plan to help bring down inflation, help control high energy prices.
For the record, this is happening in the 6th largest economy in the world. One can only imagine how others are faring. Why imagine when you have data to prove it? South Africa's economy is likely in recession too. In technical recession, its GDP contracted 0.7% in the second quarter. The economic growth outlook has slipped to 2%. In Argentina, the rate of inflation has climbed to 83%. Its complex web of rules and taxes is further amplifying the problem. Same story with Tunisia. It is facing an economic stagnation with a skyrocketing rate of inflation. In Egypt, the debt to GDP ratio has risen to 89%. These were just a few examples. According to surveys, there are more than 15 countries that are in the danger zone of an economic crisis. So which countries am I talking about? Besides the one I just mentioned, there's Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Belarus, El Salvador, Ecuador, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. They're all going through an economic storm and they're unlikely to come out of it anytime soon. The International Monetary Fund says the global economic growth outlook looks gloomier than earlier. It says the economic indicators further point towards more challenges, mainly because of high rates of inflation, the weak growth momentum in China, pandemic-induced slowdown, and of course, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. These are all issues that could further lower the global economic outlook, if not addressed on an urgent basis. What about India? Where does India stand in this mess? Should we be worried too? Not really. Analysts say for now, India is not really at risk of a recession. Why? Well, there are a host of factors. To start with, India has lower debt when compared to the rest of the world. Secondly, India has a demographic advantage, its young population. You see, the rest of the world is expected to see an aging trend, but India will continue to have a high share of the working age population. Reason number 3, investments. India witnessed large flows of investments, mainly after the pandemic, when economies began hiking interest rates, making it expensive for investors to make their bets. This made them turn to India. All these factors combined could help India avert a recession. I'm not saying this, surveys are. Take this one, for instance. It's from Moody's. It says India, as well as other economies in the Asia-Pacific region, are expanding due to their own delayed reopening from pandemic shutdowns. It says due to this, a recession is not expected in the APAC region, but it will face headwinds from higher interest rates. That said, not everybody is going to escape the recession storm. If you happen to be living in the countries at risk, the ones we just mentioned, you must know how this recession will impact you, your finances, your expenditure, your plans for the holiday season. First, I'll give you the answer you want. Will you end up spending more this holiday season? Yes. According to a survey, consumers will have to spend 6.7% more during this holiday season when compared to last year because of recession. But that's not the only challenge. A recession also leads to drops in output and investment, along with falling profits for businesses and a spike in unemployment. If we speak of unemployment, in every recession, the unemployment rate tends to rise as companies cut back on staff to reduce their expenses. So be alert. You may be at the risk of losing your job or experiencing a pay cut. Next challenge, a difficulty in finding a job during a recession. Job openings also take a hit. They reduce in number, and the competition for a few openings gets tougher, making the struggle of finding a new job significantly longer. No wonder we're seeing trends like moonlighting emerge, where people are taking up a side hustle, a secondary job, if you will. Then there's career cushioning, where people are looking for options, a backup plan, to add a sense of security to their professional lives. All these are a way to cushion the blow, should they be shown the door. Challenge number 3, cost of living. While inflation contributes to recession, you may find that household essentials like groceries, gasoline, and clothes are more expensive than they used to be. Higher prices make it harder to make ends meet. So you may have to turn to strict budgets and cut down on discretionary spending. So what's our advice? What should you do? First things first, remember how our elders told us to save for a rainy day? Start doing that, because a downpour is coming. Secondly, arm yourself with information. I just told you about surveys, reports, data. Read up about recession. Learn about what will get costlier, from groceries to petrol to even your OTT subscriptions. It's all a vicious cycle. See if you can live without them. Third, add more skills to your professional resume. The job market is going through a flux. Layoffs are the talk of town. Recession-proof careers are trending. You can't make your job recession-proof, but you can certainly make your resume more attractive. Instead of quiet quitting, moonlighting, or career cushioning, see if you can add value to your workplace.